Director of Spider-Man Far From Home, Jon Watts, recently explained the Nick Fury twist in that film. This explanation single-handedly destroyed a lot of fan theories that people had about Nick Fury in the MCU and sets up something really crazy for Phase 4 of the MCU.
It's like the news, but for nerds.
Today's shout out goes to the Alex Alpha. Indeed, Avatar made $77 million its opening weekend in the States. We'll do another nerd card question at the end of this video. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday to you. I'm Josh, and welcome back to the den. And you know what? If you got a case of the Mondays, I found this crazy solution for the Mondays. It's called smash that like button. Smash it! Start your week off right. Smash the like for this video. All right, so first, before we get into the crazy thing that Jon Watts said about Nick Fury, I just want to say Spider-Man Far From Home is killing it in the box office. The film crushed expectations by bringing in $185 million in its domestic opening weekend, and its worldwide box office in just 10 days of release is $580 million. Now, we talked about this before, but I was damn sure that this movie was going to make $1 billion simply because of the possible tie-ins to Avengers Endgame and all the curiosity about what the MCU looks like after Endgame. Another brilliant stroke by Marvel by positioning this movie in that sort of a place where all that extra attention and anticipation goes to. Film's on track to be $1 billion Spider-Man movie, which, unless I'm mistaken, I don't think there's ever been $1 billion Spider-Man movie. So hopefully we crack that. And I think this probably means that Spider-Man's probably safe in the MCU. The current arrangement with Sony is just, well, making too much sense. Dollars and cents. Now let's get to the real juicy stuff. Oh, and I should mention a spoiler warning for both Spider-Man Far From Home and Avengers Endgame. If you haven't seen both those movies, get out of here. Unless you don't care about those movies or unless you don't care about spoilers. Dude, I don't know. I don't get the internet anymore. I really don't. Okay, so Jon Watts recently interviewed by Brandon Davis for comicbook.com. I'll link the video. It's actually really cool. You get a cool idea of where their heads were at while designing both the post-credit scenes for Spider-Man Far From Home. But there was this one part of the interview that I felt like they just grazed over, and it's actually a really big deal for the MCU, particularly the MCU in Phase 4. Now, this fact is that the real Nick Fury was at the funeral for Tony Stark at the end of Avengers Endgame, that was the actual Nick Fury. And actually, Jon Watts goes on to explain that we didn't want the audience to think that Nick Fury had been gone for a long time, or that the Nick Fury they'd seen on screen for a long time had been a Skrull. I saw a million videos and articles talking about how long Nick Fury had been a Skrull, and there's all sorts of cool stuff that people were bringing up. The fact that he cuts the sandwich diagonally in Age of Ultron. The fact that people call him Nick and he says nobody calls him anything but Fury in the Captain Marvel movie. The fact that he tells Agent Coulson he'll be everywhere after Age of Ultron. A lot of crazy stuff going on. And I participated in a lot of those conversations because it's cool stuff, man. I thought that would be nuts. But this explanation by Jon Watts clearly says that those theories were wrong. And I can see from the context here that what Marvel wanted to do was not devalue the character moments that Nick Fury had in the previous MCU movies. Because for the sake of rewatchability and for the sake of their canon, they just can't have that happen. Like, you can retcon stuff, but you can't go that crazy. That's literally why the plot of Avengers Endgame still keeps the 22 movies before Endgame as, like, there. Like, it doesn't really change it. The time travel doesn't affect those movies. It's so clearly a priority for Marvel not to diminish the things that had come before. And so with that attitude in mind, it's very unlikely that they would replace Nick Fury with a Skrull version of Nick Fury, even if it's Talos, who I guess is turning into a fan favorite character at this point. I don't know that to be fact, actually. Let me know in the comments. Is Talos a fan favorite character now? But yeah, they're not gonna have the fake Nick Fury in those other movies. Now, the implications of this actually is a big deal for Phase 4 of the MCU, because what this means is Nick Fury, upon coming back after the snap, decided the best course of action for him was to leave Earth and go to this base in the sky, to go to this Skrull base and start to do some work there. But he left Talos on Earth to be Nick Fury in all the instances that Earth would need Nick Fury, and he of course has direct communication with the real Nick Fury. So what the implications of this are is that freaking Nick Fury's building Sword, man. That after the snap, he is so clearly focused on something in space, forming a coalition, getting a group of heroes together in space, because he knows that that's the main reason why Thanos was able to just march throughout the galaxy and just get all of the Infinity Stones. And in an effort to further protect Earth, but also to further protect the entire universe, it would appear Nick Fury's out there building the space version of S.H.I.E.L.D., which we can assume will be Sword. Now let's go to speculation town for just a minute here. We've heard leaks that the Marvel universe is going to be split up and they'll have an Earthbound villain and a main Earthbound plot that takes place over the next 3 to 6 movies. And they'll also have a cosmic plot with a cosmic villain that will take place over the next 3 to 6 movies. So we'll have these sort of mini arcs and split them between the Earthbound heroes and the cosmic heroes. And with Nick Fury building Sword out in space and yet having the ability to be on Earth at the same time with Talos, we can assume that Nick Fury and whatever new organization he is building, which I do think will involve a lot of the Skrulls, that organization is going to play a major role in the next phase of the MCU. And on top of that, if the rumors of Norman Osborn coming into the MCU are true, and if they truly go towards Dark Reign and Dark Avengers, then it will be necessary for Nick Fury to probably have a secret Avengers with all of the real heroes that are probably disenfranchised, like Peter Parker. Now the whole world thinks he's a villain, everybody's gonna hate him, so Spider-Man can't be an Avenger, but he could be a secret Avenger or a member of S.W.O.R.D. with Nick Fury. I've also been seeing some really cool stuff come out in interviews where Feige and different people, behind the scenes at Marvel had talked about how with Sam Jackson, this has been a particularly difficult thing to explain to him. That after starting out with so many different appearances in the MCU, that they would take him off the board for a while, but the plan was always to make 2019 the year of Nick Fury. And I think moving forward in the MCU, Nick Fury is going to play a very important role. He's sort of the glue that can tie the first 3 phases of the Infinity Saga to the next phase and just have this cohesive through line to basically everything Marvel Cinematic Universe. So in summary here, guys, the theories about Nick Fury being a Skrull for a long, long time are incorrect. It was just for Spider-Man Far From Home, but what that implies is that now, after Endgame and after the snap and the blip and everything, that Nick Fury's focus is on building a team of heroes in the stars to protect Earth and other planets and basically everything that's good in the universe. So let me know what you think about that. Are you bummed that those theories are incorrect? You think there's still a chance that maybe the Skrull was there even though John Watts said this? Whatever you're thinking about this, let me know in the comment section below. Now let's check the nerd card before we get out of here. Another thing that John Watts said was who he would want to be the villain of the next Tom Holland Spider-Man film. The question is, what villain did he suggest? Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.